Can you hear me well, Rob?
Yes, I can.
Everything okay?
Perfect. Let me track
Perfect.
down oh, there he is. Okay. Good. I want to make sure that we got him. 1 second while I adjust some background lighting here.
Sure. Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you? Sorry.
I'm good, Michael. Thanks.
No problem. Yeah, Teams didn't. I had to go through a whole bunch of setting things to reset my mic after an update. So while you guys were talking, I could hear you. You couldn't hear me.
Oh, good.
Yes. Apologies.
Where
I
are
don't know
you
why.
based, Michael?
I am in Middle Tennessee between Nashville and Memphis.
Oh, okay, perfect. What time is it there?
6 o'clock.
Oh, evening or morning?
Morning.
Morning, okay. Thanks for joining so early in the morning.
Yeah, my calls are in the morning. Rob's calls are in like his middle of the day. It gets to be fun sometimes when we get a couple of these in a day.
Yes. Oh, right.
Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Yes.
You're coming in great.
Okay. Oh, okay, perfect.
Where are you located?
Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, nice. Nice.
But I lived in New Zealand for a while before I moved to Australia.
Oh, I'm envious. New Zealand's one of the places I want to go visit.
Please, it's so beautiful. I lived there for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Even sometimes when I go back, because I still own a business in New Zealand. So when I go back, I feel like it's so beautiful. The lakes are sky blue.
Oh, nice.
Sky blue. It's so beautiful. The sky is sometimes so, like, if you remember the Windows, the desktop screen, remember? Used to have a valley and it used to look like that. If I post a photo, my friends will comment, "Oh, Windows wallpaper."
That's funny.
All right. Excellent. 1 second. I gotta shut down. My Teams is still up. 1 second. I gotta go find that and kill it.
Reminds me, do not disturb. Turn off notifications.
Oh, yes. That's always important.
You more than me, because yours beeps all the time.
Yeah, depending on what I've got, it can be annoying, especially because I get like a few of those and I'll get like a whole flurry of stuff. It's like, leave me alone. I don't really want to talk to you. Okay, now find this. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this. Let's do a sound check. Does sound all good, Michael?
Yeah, we're good all around.
Okay. So the way we do this is we will do, it'll be basically about an hour-long episode. It'll end up airing as two. We do video plus we do audio. Say hi to the video audience because we basically do video beforehand, do the podcast, the audio portion of it. We wrap up the audio and then we have a sort of a bonus or extra material at the end where we'll ask you a question about either a challenge you have for the audience or maybe a parting nugget of wisdom that you'd like to share. The audience are developers with a entrepreneurial bent. So typically they're the kind of developers that like building things. They will have a side hustle, things of that nature. So they may be, while they may have a corporate job, they probably also are running a business to some level. Obviously, AI is a big thing in the development world these days. So that'll be some of the things we're going to be talking about. I'll introduce essentially the first episode. I'll introduce myself, Michael introduce himself. I'll allow you to introduce yourself, and then we'll just go from there. We keep it organic. We always really just launch from whatever your introduction is. We'll start right into questions, have a discussion, and see where it goes. And within about 45 minutes or so, we'll sort of wrap up the first part, get some social links and things like that from you. Do the bonus, and we'll be done. And then this will be out. We're at about 3 weeks about 3 or 4 weeks, something like that, Michael, is when this will go.
That's about right. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
No, let's go.
All right. We're going to dive. Well, let me get myself centered here a second bit. Whoop, that way. Tres, dos, uno. Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing, still can't get over this, season 28. This is a Developreneur podcast, building better developers, whichever way I'm pointing to these. I am Rob Rudhead, one of the founders of Developreneur, also the founder of RB Consulting, where we help you avoid costly technology mistakes the best time before they happen. Good thing and bad thing from this week. Good thing is sunshine aplenty where I'm at. It's been really nice. I've got, get to go out there, work on my tan, as it were, be a little less of a geeky looking person. The downside is heat waves. It is hotter than all get out, and just not that much fun. It's one of those that you go out and immediately, like 3 steps into your walk, you're ready for, suck down a gallon of water, and it immediately just sweats right back out of your system. So I guess that's a good thing, is the system is just constantly chugging stuff out through my pores. The person who never breaks a sweat can now introduce himself. Michael, go ahead.
Hey, everyone. My name is Michael Malash. I'm one of the co-founders of Building Better Developers, also known as Developreneur. I'm also the founder of Envision QA, where we fix broken systems and replace the guesswork with tested, dependable solutions built around your business, so your business can grow, scale, and function normally instead of dealing with all those little hiccups. Good thing, bad thing. More bad stuff with the house. We lost the well again on Saturday, so we've been without water now for 5 days at the house. And now they have to run a new electrical line from the house to the well. Good thing is by this afternoon, I should hopefully have water running again at the house.
And we have a guest today, and I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you for having me today. I'm really honored to do this. So my name is Lata. I'm actually one of the co-founders of Global AI Certification Council. I'm currently taking care of operations, marketing, and sales in the business. So we provide AI governance certifications, and we also provide an AI governance tool for enterprises who are currently moving into AI governance. That's what we do. Thanks.
Well, I think that's a perfect launching point, because anybody that's in the business AI space, governance comes up all the time. So I think I'd like to start with, what does governance mean what does AI governance, or just governance in general, mean to you?
Sure. If you think about driving on a highway, we have a guardrail. That's the reason why we could drive in 100 kilometers per hour or 110 more, because of the guardrail. But if you see in the city, we can't drive more than 40, 50, 60. That's the max, right? So it's because of the guardrails we can move fast. So for AI governance is like guardrails that helps us to have innovation faster. So if we do not have AI governance in place, people gonna have issues, or the company's gonna have issues, because there are a lot of risk involved. I'm sure many of us have seen bias, hallucination, drifts that happens with AI. If that's not governed well, that could end up being a problem to humans, community, organizations, and probably ecosystem as well. So that's why we need AI governance.
I love that, because I think a lot of times people think of guardrails as slowing things down. And it really isn't necessarily that. It's more about making sure that you're on the right path, that you're not, going off a trail and having to redo your work. And so that leads us right into, now that we've sort of defined what governance is, what does a governance certification look like? What is it that you guys, how does that process work?
Sure. So we are currently providing ISO 42001. It is a framework or standard for AI management systems. if audience already know about ISO 27001, it is for Information Security Management System. So the ISO 42001, as I mentioned, it's for AIMS, AI Management System. So that's our core certification. But we also provide certification for specific industry like legal professionals, HR professionals, cost and control professionals, because AI is currently everywhere. Even if HR professional wants to hire someone, they need to know what is AI. If a board member is there, want to know about AI governance, so we have a certification. So we start with the main standard, which is ISO 42001, which is the only certifiable standard for AI governance right now, while we are speaking here in July 2026. So that's our core offer, ISO 42001, and we also have certifications for different industries.
Interesting. So, how did you get into this type of service, this type of certification? I know there's, has always been certifications, but what drove you to really define this and come up with this governance and certification for AI?
Sure. Number one, I have a PhD in software engineering. So that's probably the core thing. I got so excited when AI was released. I started exploring about AI. I took like 6 weeks off to understand how this AI things around AI works. So at that time, I realized that people are struggling because of the speed of innovation that happened in AI. People were struggling. But then we started, and also I worked as a lecturer for almost like 4 years before I started my own business. So, having a software engineering background and a lecturer background, I started thinking about what we can do combining this. So, I came up with an idea of AI certification. But then we did not want to provide a normal AI certification like how to use AI, prompt engineering. We wanted something that is good for professionals, that could be useful to safeguard humans or ecosystem. So that's when I thought about having AI governance certifications. So that's the story behind it. The intersection of my software engineering degree and my lecturing experience. Thought, okay, let's do this. And
Interesting. Oh, go ahead. No, continue. Sorry, that was actually wonderful.
And not only that, I have been running a marketing business for the past 8 years. I'm running a digital marketing company. So I always have been looking for a product or a service to sell with my marketing experience. So all the things came together. It's almost like what Steve Jobs says, you cannot connect dots looking forward, you can always connect dots looking backward. So it's all together. It happened really well.
And it sounds like you're passionate about. Me and Rob have had multiple conversations over the years about what drives us, what drives developers, and entrepreneurs, developers. I love this. I don't have a PhD, but similar experience with college in that back in the 90s, the college I went to, they were actually trying to figure out how to build like neural networks. This was way before AI. They were trying to figure out how to build a computer brain. And here we are now with AI. But I digress. Getting back into your business though, so you have a marketing business and you decide to build this governance service. Now, I know this is like the guardrails for AI, the way you explain this. I worked in both financial and medical for a couple decades now, and they have different types of governance. We have the governance of HIPAA, we have SOX, and different areas of governance with different markets. But that's not the governance you're talking about here, though. You're talking about the governance of applying, like how to use AI within an organization. But do you see that also working with the governance of other industries?
Sure. See, when governance come in, even if you see some of the countries around the world, they did not have a comprehensive AI regulation, just like European Union. What they did was they just extended the existing laws. What does that mean? That means they're just trying to use the existing Online Protection Act, Privacy Act, which means all these SOC 2, HIPAA compliance, they have to also comply with AI, which means if there is a Data Protection Act, even with AI, we cannot do it. If there is a healthcare data, even with AI, we cannot compromise it. So the governance, it doesn't stand alone. AI governance doesn't stand alone. It goes with the existing laws that manage data, information, and risk and compliance. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm.
perfectly, because you're essentially
Mm.
building on top of the existing laws
Correct.
and governance. Okay. I was just curious if that was the case or if you had a separate kind of level of governance just for AI, but it sounds like maybe you could go in a little more detail about how your AI governance works with all that, how it incorporates those additional laws within your governance.
Sure. So how organization do is they create integrated management systems. So what it means is we have ISO 42001, which is AI management system, but it doesn't have to be separate. It can be integrated with the previous standards like ISO 27001. It can be integrated with HIPAA, SOC 2. So an organization needs to have all of them together. Yes, AI governance is a new field, but it doesn't sit separately. So, as a risk manager or GRC professional or a cybersecurity or IT team, now, along with protecting the data, now they have to protect the AI as well. So, it's the responsibility of doing it all together. So it doesn't sit alone. It does. They do have an integrated management system to do it.
So one of the things I'm starting to see is, as I said, governance is becoming a big thing. Everybody's realizing that, as you mentioned, brought up earlier, there's hallucinations and all these other things that are the bad things that come from AI minus guardrails, essentially. And so that is becoming this focus. But now I'm seeing almost again, like getting ahead of themselves a little bit. Are you seeing situations where organizations are trying to step in and put a governance framework in place, but they're not actually ready to execute on that yet? They're not actually ready to own that. So they've got the framework, but they can't implement it.
So currently, Rob, it is actually a spectrum. If you see, there are companies who doesn't even know governance exists. There are companies who know governance exists, but they don't do anything about it. There are companies they know governance exists, they do it, but they don't do it right. And there are companies, I spoke to one person in a banking sector. He said they have been doing AI governance since 2019. So it's a spectrum. So currently, if you see, currently people are slowly understanding the importance of it. So we recently released AI governance job insights on 16 June 2026. What we learned is for every 7 jobs in US, every 7 AI governance jobs in US, there is only one qualified person to do the job. Worldwide, for every 3 jobs in AI governance, there is only one qualified person to do the job. There are 30,000 AI governance roles in US alone. And most of the other countries also catching up, like Canada, New Zealand. It was so interesting to see it. And LinkedIn, the number of jobs increased 150% since the last year. So enterprises are slowly realizing the importance of it. And I can see compared to last year, the number of people getting certified are crazily increasing, especially we have students from around 38 countries. Many countries are slowly realizing the importance. And I can see that it's not just the individuals trying to get certified, but organizations are demanding that as well. But it's going to go slowly. Just like although smartphones were launched in 2008, there are still people who do not use smartphones. So it can be a spectrum where people move one at a time. But there are organizations that are already very good in AI governance, like a banking sector.
Are you seeing that in the? That's one of the things I'm interested in. The lines of business and the verticals that have traditionally had a lot of compliance issues, which I'm thinking, healthcare, banking, finance, depending, some of the governmental type things, public corporations. Are you seeing that they are better situated to adopt and step into these new governance? I'll say that these new governance requirements for AI, or are they sort of starting at the same point as even the smaller businesses that aren't used to regulated industries?
So one thing with this finance industry, banking industry, is that they've already been regulated. So even if you see pre-AI, most of them were into ISO 27001. Most of the organization were ISO 27001 certified. So naturally, when this AI certification came in, they immediately moved into it because finance industry is a highly regulated industry. Because of the nature of the work they do, the nature of the data they have, it is a clear contractual requirements that they need to have certification. I was speaking to one of the project managers in a company where their clients are financial services organization. He was saying that their customers are demanding their staff members to have some sort of certifications to manage AI governance. So it's a requirement from the customers themselves. So compared to any other field, definitely, as I said, even 2022 November only we got ChatGPT released. But this person in banking industry said they have been using AI governance since 2019.
So is within certifications and even things like the ISO 42001 compliance, I always worry a little bit about what they call paper tigers. So that you've got a certification, but you don't really, it doesn't stick, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so I'm wondering from the ISO 42001, is there a situation where you could be compliant, but you're still not really executing on it? So, for example, you're compliant, but you don't really have clear ownership of business decisions. You don't really have good documentation of workflows. AI, the recommendations are not necessarily followed, and so you don't have a consistent process behind it. Is this something that's possible, or is there some sort of I guess an enforcement mechanism or something like that to help, so that if you know somebody is compliant, that they are also doing the things and not simply have gone through the process?
First of all, it is totally possible that people follow all the steps in ISO 42001 and still they cannot be compliant or governed. The reason is simple. There are so many unknowns in AI. Even in an organization, there are shadow AIs. We do not even know what employees are using. So we do not know. And even, for example, take an example of a bias. Let's understand that they found out one type of bias. We do not know whether there is another type of bias exist, whether there is the best possible way to solve that problem. And even if they solve it, how do we know that it's not going to come back again? So if it is not cyclic, it's not easy to solve. So the answer is, even if we have ISO 42001, it needs to be certified every year. Otherwise, the problem can still come. And one of the part of ISO 42001 is continuous improvement. And an organization should take that seriously. Otherwise, it's just a document. But ISO 42001 audit is very comprehensive. So if an auditor really goes through it properly, they can easily find out. And again, it depends on who does the audit, who does the implementation, who does the coding, how they pass the information to the governance professionals. All that matters. It is like having a fingerprint. It's completely unique. So yes, to answer your question, it's possible. And second thing you asked about is enforcement. Is there any possibility for enforcement? It only can be enforced through laws. See now, European Union, EU AI Act, they're following everything. They're scared because the penalty is so huge, 35 million euros or 7% of the global annual turnover. So enforcement can be done through laws and penalties. And that's the only way. And I like the EU AI Act, which is so beautiful because it clearly mentioned what are the AI systems that are prohibited. What AI systems are high risk? And they have to follow certain guidelines to keep that AI systems running in an organization. So it is enforcement can be done only by the government through penalties. And there are some countries, they also have laws, but they do not have any penalties. Still, that's not going to work. I would recommend having countries to have laws and penalties as well to enforce so that we can have a safer AI deployed all along.
And that is where we will pause. But don't worry, we're coming back with episode 2. We're going to follow this one up. This one is one of those that it's like a little bit of a reality check as we're going through all of this AI hype and what it can do. And this is one of those things where, yes, it does shine a light and shows some of those are cracks that are out there, because otherwise, AI is going to go flying along there. And if you don't have those guardrails in place, then it ends up banging up against what would have been the guardrails. The next thing you know, you're off in a ditch as opposed to driving quickly down the highway. So I love the analogy she gave, and we've got more coming. So notes, you can put your notes up for now, but be ready to grab more than a few, including we'll have some great links and ways to get a hold of her, and also some of the material that their organization has put together that I think will be some of the studies and things like that to give you a better idea of what does AI look like in the world out there. But as always, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.